Hey guys, Jay here, and I know today I have been uploaded a few videos already, but this one is a spicy one. So just recently, just before I record this video, I actually was watching the podcast, the podcast of Capmaster OP and Balomage. With This episode is with Neversink and Dreamcore. Basically, they're talking about the new league, the buff, the changes, the nerf, and one thing came up to the conversation, and I think I have something very valuable to add to the conversation. They bring up the warcry, more specifically the new warcry keystone in replacement for the previous call to arm, which was the warcry that make all the warcries instant, but they share cooldown. With the stuff that we are already knowing, I think I have cracked the way on how to actually utilize that keystone, because in face value the new keystone is gonna be something that buff your minion in face value, or maybe party play. But I think there's a way for majority of players playing POE is gonna be solo player, and you play solo character, so you want it to apply to something that is useful to your own character, right? So the new keystone actually applies all the buffs to the warcry, so of the warcries to the allies. So let's see how are we able to be utilizing those effectively. At least this is one idea that I think might work. But unless we can actually test it in the game in the 3.24 patches, which will only be available since in like 6 days. Before that, there's nothing certain, but depend on all the information that we have got, depend on the footage of the gameplay showcase in the GGG content reveal video, which shows multiple warcries can be triggered from the call to arm support. So I came up with this setup that I think is very interesting and potentially very strong as well. So okay, let's go to the setup. So the first thing I want to say is this setup is going to be revolving around General's Cry. So General's Cry is the skill that when you warcry, you summon Mirage warriors from the corpses nearby, and they will do the linked attack for you, melee attack. So normally you will see people do it with slam. Recently there are a couple of very interesting slam skills that can be utilized with this skill that is very strong, which are Tectonic Slam of Cataclysm, and also the Volcanic Fissure of Sneaking. Those are the two slam skills that was quite interesting lastly. So Mirage Warriors, which are the generals that was summoned from the General's Cry, they are considered to be allies but not minions. Why is this important? Because the warcry keystone, the new warcry keystone that in replacement for call to arm before, is now Warlord's Call. Warcries no longer exert attack. Warcries also grant their buffs to nearby allies. So that means if you summon the Mirage Warriors, then you use any warcries, you potentially can make all the buffs of the other warcries apply to the generals. Because before, they just snapshot your character damage. Some things apply to them, something doesn't. They're not minions, so it's kind of weird scaling them. So basically, just try to have one big hit, right? But now with the warcries, so when you summon them, you can actually warcries, and then it will buff all the current existing generals around you, all the Mirage Warriors around you with these buff of the other warcries. So that comes to the conversation of Call to Arms, which is the new support gem that basically take away the Call to Arms keystone from us. This keystone, this Call to Arm gem, what it does, it trigger the warcries linked to the gem. From the footage of the GGG revealed content review video, we can see that this might trigger multiple warcries. And if that is actually the case, again, there's no way for me personally to confirm that information, Maybe someone with some additional detail or contact with GGG can know that information in advance. But well, at current state, I cannot confirm this to be a thing, but almost everyone agreed when they see the teaser that they see the call to arm actually trigger multiple warcries, not just one. So if that is the case, then we can actually trigger up to 5 additional warcries, potentially, right? So first of all is the Battle Mage's Cry, which may be just useful if you are using a strength stacking weapon, which you are playing a strength stacking build basically. And in this case, it's not really ideal to play the strength stacking build, at least the Outrun Warpath version, and I will explain in a little bit why that is the case. But just know, maybe if you play a Brutus, less Sprinkler strength stacking character, for example, then you may use Battle Mage Cry. It will combo with Iron Will and give you a bunch of attack damage, basically. Inferno Cry helps with clear, explosion. This one is seismic, basically. I think this one is seismic, or this was intimidating cry. So it either one warcry here give double damage, a warcry give extra area of effect and extra damage, and another one give just extra damage, more damage. So basically that is a lot of buffs for the call to arms. So if you take all of these and then you use, first of all, Red Blade Banner, so all your warcries always have full power. Normally, if you build a build that is heavily revolving around warcries, you will use the shield. This is quite obvious. But the more importantly is the boots here to enable the General's Cry playstyle. The new General Cry playstyle that I am thinking about is you use these, is the Corpse Walker boots. So what it does is every step you take, so every movement step you take in the game, you will summon a corpse. And you know, the corpses are necessary for the General's Cry to summon the Mirage Warrior from. So if you have this one, you just basically walk around, you have your call to arms with all the warcries always constantly, you know, buffing just randomly, and you basically use the General's Cry yourself, which is not instant, by the way. All the other warcries that you want to link with the call to arms are instant. I would think, you know, ideally, probably you would do 2 to 3 warcries, not all 5, but you know, if you have to choose, for example, for some reason you have another 6 links, for example, in your helmet, 6 linked helmet to put your main skill on, then, well, you can use 6 warcries in your body armor. But normally your body armor will be for the main attack skill, which is the General's Cry. And so you have like a 4 socket for the pull to arm. So yeah, the playstyle is basically you walk around, you always warcrying around, and that has a problem of mana cost, so you have to deal with it somehow. But this is the rough idea of how it works. You have corpses generation from the Corpse Walker, so you don't have to Cyclone, because Cyclone Desecrate will add an extra step of clunkiness to this build, because right now with this current setup, the General's Cry, you either lose a link to put the call to arm to the General Cry itself, or you have to cast it yourself, which have a cast animation. With the warcry speed, there's one cluster of warcry speed on the tree. You take it, it will be pretty fast. You will not be, you know, too annoying with it. It just feels like you stand and you cast one big skill, like you cast a discharge. Pretty much that is what it feels like. And yeah, then you have a bunch of generals running around trying to attack. While they are trying to attack, they will get buffed by the warcries that got to call to arms. By the way, you don't need to put all of these. If you want to use all 5 of these, you can sacrifice 2 4-links. So call to arms with 2 warcries and maybe life tap, for example, or call to arms with the other warcries. So you can have 2 separate setup of call to arms. You don't need to put it all on one slot. So yeah, depends on gem slot management. This can be a thing. This can be potentially somewhat powerful. Maybe it's clunky. Maybe it will not do enough damage. That I'm not sure, because it has a lot of other components that can affect the outcome of the build. But before, we have seen a lot of people have very nice success with General's Cry, especially all leagues, all the previous leagues. You will probably see a POE of some berserker with a red blade banner, a paradoxica with General's Cry, and then blade flurry that has like multi hundreds of millions of damage, or even to the billions of damage, or the strength stacking, with the billions of damage with General's Cry. So the ceiling for the build is there. It's just, the couple of pieces that need to put together. But this can be potentially extra power to this particular, archetype build. So yeah, let me know if you have any other idea to use Warlock's Call here, because the thing about this keystone is the other allies that we have are either minions or party member, which are group. So group is a different conversation that I would not like to mention because I don't have experience in that field. However, for minions, no minions built in the right mind will travel to the bottom side of the tree just to get warcries, and they don't have the socket to do warcries anyway. So there's no point in this. There's no way this is useful for minions. So this is the case, the only thing that I think can be very, very useful with this keystone and with this combo of skill gems, of new stuff that has come with this current 3.24 patch. So let me know if you think this is interesting. Let me know if you've played this build before, and what do you think about this setup. Would it work? Would it improve your build in terms of damage? I think it would. In the case of, for example, Paradoxica, before we used Paradoxica for double damage, right? Even if you only use one warcry in here, which is the Intimidating Cry, which makes the attack deals double damage, then in that case you can remove Paradoxica, which have a very tiny amount of flat damage, of base damage. You can replace it with something, for example, even a Varunastra, which is a weapon with pretty good base attack, rather slow attack speed, but the base number of flat attack is pretty high, so that can potentially be a very nice weapon in replacement for Paradoxica. It has around double the base damage, I think, with a physical GG physical Paradoxica, so I think that can be very, very strong potentially for the General's Cry type of build. I thought of this when I am in the process of trying to make a Facebreaker General's Cry build. Apparently Facebreaker doesn't work very well, so I think just a one-handed high damage weapon should be the best bet, right? So let me know what you think, and then thanks so much for watching. Remember to like and subscribe to the channel if you think this is helpful or interesting, and see you in the next video. Seriously, subscribe. Stay tuned for more content for POE.